Paolo Banchero, when he was drafted, was expected to be a MVP caliber player. He was expected to be a superstar that would take the Orlando Magic to the promised lands. Every single season, he disappoints. And then every single offseason, they say, this next season is going to be his season. He's finally going to take those jumps. He's finally going to become a efficient player, a good defender, a franchise player. And every season, that's just not what happens. And this season is more of the same. Paolo was a former first overall pick, putting him with the names like Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama. And all of those players have just soared past him, right? He's been extremely underwhelming as a first overall pick, and there is some tough conversations that we need to have about him. Now, obviously, there is a lot of time for Paolo Banchero to become the player that we all know that he can be, right? This video isn't just me saying it's over. It's over for Paolo Banchero. The Orlando Magic need to blow it all up. That's not what I'm saying in this video, but I do want to talk about his struggles and what he's been doing that has led him to being pretty disappointing. And I want to talk about what he can do, what he needs to work on to become that player that we all know he can be, become a real MVP caliber guy. And I want to talk about the likelihood that he becomes that guy and what is a realistic point for him. We can't talk about Paolo without talking about his shooting regression. Paolo is very clearly not a good three-point shooter. I have my phone out to read you some statistics over the past 10 games that he's played. 0 of 7 from 3. 0 of 4 from 3. 1 of 4 from 3. 0 of 4 from 3. 0 of 0 from 3. 0 of 2, 0 of 2, 2 of 4, 0 of 1, 2 of 5, right? Over the past 10 games, he's been averaging 15% from 3. And that's on 3 attempts, right? It's very clear to us that he has not gotten better at shooting threes at all. He's actually gotten worse. So that forces him to take some mid-range jumpers, right? But he's not that good at taking those mid-range jumpers either. Currently, he is 5th in the league, if I'm not mistaken, in field goal percentage from the mid-range. He's made mid-range pull-ups a key part of his game, and it's just not something he can do. I mean, he's been shooting historically bad from jump shots all around the court. Now, obviously, we know Paolo has the tools, he has the dribbling, he has everything to become a good shooter from anywhere on the court. It just has not come to fruition. What he is good at doing is attacking the basket, passing out when he doesn't have something, and getting a layup or a dunk when he is open. I mean, he's an extremely big body, he's extremely strong. He can get down there basically every single time. But that's not what he wants. Players know that he cannot shoot, so they just sag off him a little bit. Defenders have adapted to his game in ways that he just cannot get around. If he wants a tough mid-range shot, defenders will give it to him because they know that is a bad shot for the team and that it will stagnate the offense of the Magic. I mean, in these games that he's been playing in the past 10 games, he's had a negative plus-minus in most of them. And statistics tell us that currently the Orlando Magic are a better team with him off the court than with him on it. And that's just sad to say because I like Paolo Banchero in a Magic uniform, right? I think that I want him to fit on this team. I just don't know if he can. Now, it's not just the horrible shooting struggles that bug me about Paolo, right? It's about his injuries as well. He missed a bunch of time last season and this season with a groin strain and an oblique strain. I think it was a torn oblique. Every single time he comes back from an injury, he has a slow start, it feels like, right? And it just takes a lot of time to get back into a rhythm for him. Not only does this affect him, but it also affects the team. I mean, this team is constantly bringing in new guys to help Paolo. You know, they bring in shooters like Desmond Bane, people who can help the offense, and it's making the team struggle because he's constantly out of the lineup, and then when he comes back into the lineup, he's just not a good basketball player. The identity of this team just seems very unclear. Obviously, we know they are a pretty good defensive team, but what else can they do? Now, I don't want to spend the majority of this video just crapping on Paolo Banchero, right? I think my thumbnail for this video has his nickname PB No J, which is, you know, objectively funny. But I like Paolo. I like who he is, and I want him to succeed. So what can he do to succeed on this team? Can he succeed on this team? And if not, where should he go? I think that he really needs to take a look at his game and minimize what he does wrong. Obviously, that's very easy for somebody to say who does not play NBA basketball, right? But listen to me. He needs to take fewer low efficiency jumpers, whether that's in the mid range or a step back three or contested three. He needs to drive to the basket. It's kind of the same criticism that a lot of people have about Zion Williamson. But I somehow have a lot more faith in Paolo than I do Zion. He shoots pretty well on open threes and shots close to the rim. If he can just get there for a semi-decent floater that's not horribly contested, or a dunk or a layup, or whether, a 5-foot jumper, he can hit those. He also desperately needs to work on his jumper from three. If he can just hit those open threes that I'm talking about, the gravity that he'll bring to the team will basically fix the offense, right? And that's what we've been saying for a long time. So I don't want to say that like I broke it. He needs to work on his three-point shooting, right? Obviously. But it just seems crazy to me that a player as good as Paolo can't figure out a jumper. Even if he got himself up to like 30 or 33% per game, it'd make a huge difference. Not only just his jumper, right? He needs to get back to his old self. It's very clear to me and other people who are watching these games that he doesn't have the same confidence as before his injuries. A lot of the time, it seems like he's playing extremely passive, right? And you just can't do that if you are a franchise player. When he's playing passive, it makes the offense lean on Franz Wagner, right? And Franz can take a hold of the offense when needed. But if he's going to do that, why not just trade away Paolo? If Paolo does not fit on a team with Franz, who we know can carry an offense, why not give away Paolo and get back some assets to really build this team around Franz? And really, the last two things that I want to talk about that he can fix on his own terms, not just his physical attributes, is he needs to play make more. We know that Paolo is a good playmaker, right? And a lot of the time, it seems like he's just hunting for his own shot. He needs to quit that. He needs to use his playmaking to his advantage and fix the offense. The flow of the ball on possessions where he's the main isolation player or he drives at the rim just feels very stagnant. It does not feel like he knows when to pass out, when not to pass out. I don't know if that's a mental thing because we've seen him make the right choices in seasons previous. Not only that, but he really does need to fix his leadership. It feels like he's disconnected from the team a lot of the time. It feels like every few months there's an issue with the coaches, there's an issue with other players. He needs to stop that. If he wants to be a franchise player, he needs to quit that. So what's my final verdict? Do I think that he can stay on this team? Do I think that he needs to be traded? I'm up in the air. Personally, I do think that Paolo still has all the tools to become a franchise player and a superstar. I don't think that he's here yet, right? And in my mind, Orlando fans will not want to hear this, but in my mind, I think that he needs to get traded. I really like Wagner's game. I like Franz, right? I'm a Michigan fan. I watched him play for a number of years before he went to the league. I like his game. And I think that you can build around him without Paolo on this team. So I'm going to ask a question. If he does get traded, where would you want to see him, right? The Warriors might come to mind. I don't know how they would put together a package. Obviously, they would give up Kuminga and some other players, Moody. The Spurs could go all in for Paolo, which I would personally really like. I don't know about Spurs fans. In that, you would have to probably give up like Keldon, probably Sohan or Vassell, and then a number of picks. Brooklyn could maybe get Paolo if they give them a ton of assets and, some players that might fit this team. Maybe MPJ, maybe Cam Thomas. I don't really know if that fits. And I guess my final team that I would put him on would be the Chicago Bulls. Again, I'm not a trade expert. I don't know how that would happen. I don't even know if that could happen, but let me know if you agree with any of these teams that I hypothetically put him on, and let me know if you have any other teams that you think would be better for him. Also, let me know if I'm just tweaking and he needs to stay on the Magic because, I could see a possibility where he does work it out on the Magic, but seems a little unlikely. Thanks for watching my video. If you tuned in, peace, I love you, and see you guys soon.